This episode of Midco Sports Magazine is presented by Shields.
Hello and welcome to Midco Sports Magazine. Our theme this month is determination. We've got three stories on three outstanding individuals who've got some big goals in mind and they are getting it done. We will meet a young woman from North Dakota who was in the best physical shape of her life and then had a stroke. She is learning to talk again and learning to walk again with the help of your friendly local professional baseball team. We'll go to Brookings, South Dakota, and a wrestling coach at South Dakota State who will inspire you to get up and get out there and get it done as he trains for a shot at the Olympic Games. But we start in Vermilion and an athlete at the University of South Dakota. She is great at her sport, outstanding in her studies, and she's got a little something else to deal with every day. Here's Jay Elson.
In a sport like high jump, the line between success and failure is razor thin.
High jumping is the ultimate game of inches. You just go up maybe a half inch or a quarter inch every week and you're just trying to get a little bit better.
It's either really good or really bad. I know right away if I had a good jump.
For Megan Glisar, there have been many more good jumps than bad. She is the best the University of South Dakota has ever seen.
Most people can't go week in and week out and go jumping over 6 foot. It's very rare that someone can do that, and that's what got her ranked in the top 10 in the U.S. last year, is that consistency that she had of jumping high every single week, making over 6 foot at least 6 different times last year, and she's made it a couple times already this year.
You'll find a couple of Glisar's triumphs documented in the USD record books. In 2014, she set the Coyotes indoor standard with a jump of 6 feet 3/4 inch at the USA Track and Field Indoor Championships. Glisar cleared that same height outdoors at the Texas Relays this spring, again a school record. She's a two-time All-American and currently ranks 6th in the nation.
I don't know if it's hit me yet how successful I have been since I have gotten here. Right out of high school, I kind of went backwards and wasn't jumping very good, and it took a few years to really figure out what high jump was and what I needed to do. And since I got on this training program, they have guided me in the right direction and what a high jump approach should look like, what training should be in the off season, what to do to peak for certain meets. And so I think that has really helped with my success.
While she's already reached heights most athletes never will, Glisar maintains the heart of a true competitor. She's never satisfied. Raising the bar remains the only option.
We're still setting goals, so even though I might be jumping good to some people right now, we still have marks that we want to get, and we still have world standards that we have not met. So that's our goal right now.
Glisar's goals aren't limited to athletics. In fact, she admits that high jump wasn't what brought her to USD. After stops at the University of Iowa and Morningside, where she won an NAIA national championship in 2012, Megan's main focus was on the other half of the student-athlete equation.
I wanted to transfer for the major that I have, and this was the closest place to home that had it. So I reached out to Lucky and introduced myself and said, I'm possibly looking at this major. I'm on the track team at Morningside. What do you think of this, and would this be an option? And so we met and discussed it and met with the department of Communication Sciences and Disorders, and I loved it. And so we kind of just worked out a way to make it possible for me to get that major that I wanted to study and be on the track team at the same time.
Once she arrived on campus, Glisar got right to work. Improvement has been steady in athletics, but she's been a standout in the classroom from the start. Megan has twice landed on the Summit League Honor Roll as a distinguished scholar and currently owns a 3.67 GPA.
I have made sure that I'm very organized. I have 2 very detailed planners that document what I'm doing every day and when and what I need to get done. And I think that was hard my first semester here, but then once I got it rolling, that's my key to success.
That diligence was recently rewarded. Glisar reached one of her long-standing academic goals, earning one of 5 spots in USD's Doctorate of Audiology program.
I will be learning about hearing and balance disorders. My dream job would be to have my own pediatric audiology clinic and work with kids.
But there is one more piece to this story.
Good job. High five.
Something that further separates Megan Glisar from the typical student athlete.
You know, he's probably my #1 fan. However, he's still a little young to understand track meets completely. He gets excited when I get first place. But if I, jump well and might end up second, he doesn't quite understand that. But he always likes to see what I bring home, whether it's a medal or bringing home a watch from Texas Relays. He thought that was pretty cool.
4-year-old Brody brings the kind of joy no trophy could ever equal. And while being a young parent hasn't come without sacrifices, Glisar says the extra responsibility adds infinite value to her sometimes hectic life.
I think I have a huge advantage over the other student athletes just because I have my family to look forward to when I come home at the end of the day. It just makes it fun, and when I'm away at meets, sometimes it's hard being gone for 4 or 5 days at a time, but I have them that are completely supporting me at home, and it makes what I'm doing more worthwhile.
That's what I really admire about her, is how she's been able to balance those things. And we've known that since she came here. There was a commitment from day one that we knew track was going to be important, but it's not the most important thing in her life. She's truly one of the most amazing people I've ever had the opportunity to work with.
All right, it's Jay Elson, and she's such a great story. Nice job by you, by the way. And she's done with her undergrad as of the spring, right?
Yeah, and then she goes into that doctorate of audiology program, which is a pretty prestigious thing at USD. She's very excited about that.
All right, is she good enough? Does she have any aspirations to jump higher, go further than she is already?
Good enough? Yeah, I don't think there's much of a question as far as talent. Is there interest? Yeah, there's at least some interest there. In fact, she said that she's already spoken to her professors about whether or not they see it being feasible for her to continue to train and try and compete beyond college while balancing this heavy workload that she's about to experience, obviously, with her graduate studies. But the other interesting part of the story is the fact that she says there's not actually a lot of American high jumpers right now. So she ranks 6th in the country, but a couple of the girls in front of her are actually from other countries. So technically, in terms of the United States, she ranks even higher.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jay Elson. Up next on Midco Sports Magazine, how the Minnesota Twins have helped a young woman from North Dakota regain her voice after suffering a stroke.
Midco Sports Magazine on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields.
Welcome back to Midco Sports Magazine. Our next story is on a young woman from North Dakota. She was in the best physical shape of her life, and then she suffered a stroke. And her rehabilitation has obviously been agonizing, but she has gotten some help from a very unlikely source, her favorite professional baseball team. Alex Heinert has her story.
For right or wrong, professional athletes are people we look up to. They're heroes from our past, stars in our present. But sometimes they can be more than a source of entertainment, more than a topic of conversation. Sometimes they can provide hope. And for Jenna Nystrom, that hope has made a world of difference. In the spring of 2014, at 29 years old, Nystrom was in the middle of her 7th year as a producer on the hunting show Wildlife Pursuit. She was a marathoner, a competing bodybuilder, a healthy, active young woman. On Memorial Day weekend, she was with friends in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, about 45 miles east of her hometown of Fargo. The next day, her mother Liz would get a phone call.
Do you have a daughter, Jenna Nystrom? I said, yes, I do. She's here at St. Mary's emergency room, and she has had a stroke. He says she's young and she should bounce back from this. And then all I could think of, this is bad. This isn't a little stroke where they say she's going to be okay. No, she's young, she'll bounce back.
A stroke is injury to the brain from lack of blood, and so the brain has become damaged from the insufficient blood flow.
I mean, how rare is it for someone in their 20s to have that happen to them?
I've been in this profession for 28 years, and I think she's probably my 4th person, maybe under the age of 40, who has actually suffered a stroke to cause their brain injury.
Doctors aren't sure what caused Jenna's stroke, and it's likely they never will. But what is clear is that the stroke occurred in the left side of her brain, the area that affects the right side of the body and controls speech. Walking, writing, speaking, nothing would be easy anymore.
Watching her try to walk the first few steps, I mean, she had no movement whatsoever. She wants to express herself, and she knows what she wants to say. She knows how to answer the questions. It's just when it goes from the brain to her hand or through her mouth, it's twisted.
Jenna's road to recovery meant a steady regimen of therapy in all forms, from occupational to physical to speech.
She was in daily for all 3 therapies for 6 months, and that was huge, huge, huge.
A few months after the stroke, in the early days of Jenna's speech therapy, the basics were still a struggle.
She really came in barely able to say words, repeat words, write words.
To help spark Jenna's speech, the family and Sanford Health speech therapist Linda Tyler turned to something familiar.
Her stepfather mentioned that she really liked the twins. And so I was just trying to find any way that would help her to get some speech out and be able to communicate as well. So we pulled out the twins roster and we just started going down through the names, and it just seemed like it was something that really motivated her. Okay, so let's practice our names.
Yeah! Hugh.
First name?
Phil. Hughes.
She was watching all the games at home. So she would come in, and that was a way she could communicate. She would write for me the scores, who won, maybe how many hits, or if somebody got a home run. So it was a way to make therapy a little more fun and enjoyable on a topic that she liked.
Ryan,
Eduardo,
Escobar, Joe Mauer.
Jenna's knowledge of the roster would soon come in handy when the Twins' winter caravan made its annual stop in Sioux Falls.
When the caravan came this winter and Linda surprised her with that, I thought, she's just gonna love that, and she did. Oh man.
Along with seeing Dick Bramer, Jack Morris, Brian Dunsing, and Brian Dozier from a distance like the rest of the 700 plus in attendance, Jenna and her family got to spend a few minutes backstage with the team, and it wasn't hard to see what the experience meant.
That was just perfect timing because she was maybe having a little bit of a low, and so it was just to be able to meet the twins, you could just tell she was so excited.
Just like her twins, Jenna's rebuilding project is still ongoing. Every day provides a challenge, but the progress she's made is easy to recognize.
Today we were working on her formulating sentences in spontaneous conversation. Before, she really could not get anything out. She just has really come a long ways.
And even though her stroke has changed so much in her life, Jenna remains the same person she's always been.
Jenna has not changed. If anything, she's more determined. I've never seen her happier, more relaxed. Very proud of her. Very proud of her.
Joined by Alex Heinert now, and you went to one of these therapy sessions with Jenna, and she's doing some hard work in these things, isn't she?
Yes, she is. I mean, this is a grueling process of having to relearn how to communicate, how to sound things out, how to walk. And one of the things that I learned over the course of my time doing this story, I found out we were born 2 days apart. Really? And so this really hit close to home. This is someone that worked in the same business that I did, was in television for a long time, had kind of the same crazy work habits as I did, and to see someone that's my age going through that, you know, if I had the same thing happen to me, I would want to respond just like she has. It's been really inspiring to see her go through that and become this person that has had to start from scratch and still be happy and be effective in life.
All right, and it's a little hard to call the Minnesota Twins inspiring at times right now, but this is very cool what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a neat thing. I mean, even though they've not been playing great on the field, this is still a great source of escape for her, of normalcy. This is something that she grew up with and really has a passion for baseball and just loves watching them play. And the cool thing about it is it's given her this extra motivation now. And everybody needs something in life, I think, to get excited about and to look forward to. And they've provided that for her. And the cool thing is our producer, Josh Muntz, helped her and her family get hooked up with the Twins organization. And she's going to get to go and be on the field later this summer. So pretty cool story.
All right, nice work, guys. Thanks, Al. Well, when we come back on Midco Sports Magazine, this guy will get you pumped up. An assistant wrestling coach at South Dakota State, working hard every day to get a shot at the Olympic Games in 2016.
Midco Sports Magazine on Midco Sports Network is presented by Shields.
Welcome back to Midco Sports Magazine. Our next story is on a wrestler. He's at South Dakota State. He's the assistant coach there, and it's actually about him and his mentor, the head coach at SDSU. These guys are so full of positive energy that after seeing this story, you're going to want to work hard, live right, and go out and get some goals accomplished. And for Jon Reader, that goal is a spot on the U.S. Olympic team in 2016.
Every morning when we walk in there at 5:15 a.m., he's in there listening to his music, dressed, ready to roll.
You know, I was never a God-gifted, skilled wrestler. It was just, I had to outwork guys. I had to find a way to get an edge on guys, and that was, you know, staying extra, getting extra work in.
Jon Reader went to high school in Michigan and wrestled in college at Iowa State. He was a 3-time All-American and a national champion in 2011. 15 years before that, Chris Bono was a national champion at Iowa State, and he was an assistant coach for the Cyclones during Reader's senior season.
And Coach Bono was the reason why I won a national title at Iowa State. He was one of my coaches there, and you know, we built an unbelievable relationship, and he truly is like a best friend to me.
I got to be with him only for a year, but it was that's where we really hooked up because we have the same mindset for wrestling. It's our passion, it's all we do. And you know, I got there and I was like, this guy's kind of crazy for his work ethic and what he wanted me to do with him and make sure you show up here, do this, do that, stay late, come early. And then I started realizing I think I'm kind of crazy because I kind of like it, you know, the things he was doing.
Re-attack! Shot, reshot! Let's go, Bubba!
3 years ago when Bono got the job in Brookings, he wanted Reader to be his assistant, but Reader was still working out at Iowa State and did not want to make the move at the time. When Bono tried again last fall, Reader was working out full-time at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado.
He gave me a call and he was like, hey, listen, I want you to come out here to Brookings with me. And you know, when he said Brookings, where is that at? You know, where is South Dakota and why do I want to be in South Dakota?
Well, because it turns out that South Dakota was the best place for him to be. Bono says that Reader had gotten too big and even teased him about being fat and slow. He wanted Reader to get back to being that dog on a bone, as Bono puts it.
And if you look at his training now, the guy's leaned out. He's down, you know, he's training 15 pounds lighter. He's down in body fat. I've got him hooked up down at Sanford Health right now, going through all the sweat tests and giving him some stuff that's really helping him with his nutrition. He's a different guy in terms of when he came here last October.
And I wanted to get back to the way I used to train, the hard-nosed, you know, the guys that are up at 5 a.m. before everybody else is sleeping, and that's what Coach Bono is. You know, that's the type of guy he is. He's going to run circles around you until you fall down. The guy is a tireless worker and one of the most focused wrestlers. And when he was training and competing, the guy still trains every day. You know, and he's 41 years old, and he still trains harder than most guys in the room.
I believe you guys are the toughest group of guys. I believe you guys are ready to win.
To be back and be coached and mentored by him is truly an honor, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Back at the Olympic Training Center, he's training with 1 or 2 guys, you know, and it's getting stale for him. Here, you know, he's got 15 workout partners. Are they the Olympic quality workout partner? No, but I believe it's helped him. The guy can get his offense off now on these guys. I've got 3 guys rotating in on him, getting them exhausted. He's training like a college guy, and Jon Reader needs to grind. Jon Reader needs to train like a college kid.
Win every period, end of every period.
Well, that is the model in college wrestling. Coaches get in the room and work out with and against the college kids every day. Reader gets to compete and teach and lead by example. And it's the Reader lifestyle that sets him apart, according to Bono. The way he eats and the way he trains and the way Reader treats people are a model for success.
Jon's one of a kind. Jon's the only one I've ever seen that I've come in contact with, that I've coached, that I've been associated with on a long-term basis, that does everything absolutely right. And it's something that we preach to our team, we preach to everybody, but this guy does everything right. If there's anybody that's ever deserved to win every single match at the highest level, it's been Jon Reader.
Let's have some fun.
That's what separates him from 99% of the people in this place. He's not going to treat somebody bad, you know, and he's not going to hang out with bad people. He'll distance himself from someone that's not going to lead the life like Jon Reader wants to be around him, and he makes everyone else around him better, and that's really what I'm so impressed with.
And don't get him wrong, Bono is quick to point out that Reader will do whatever it takes to beat you. But somehow he is able to maintain a balance between gladiator and good guy.
You know, we got little fourth graders running laps with Jon Reader on a Saturday morning at 7 in the morning. Who does that? Guys trying to win a gold medal. Who's inviting fourth graders to come run with them? You know, not many people.
Reader and Bono just returned from an international tournament in Turkey. Reader finished 5th at 189 pounds and lost to an American in the third place match. So that is the focus for Reader right now. Be the best in the country first, and then be the best in the world.
He was at the Olympic Training Center. He was traveling overseas 5-6 times a year. The way I put it to him was, John, you're doing all this, you're wrestling all these foreigners, and then you're losing this, you know, the guys in the United States, you're 5th or 6th on the ladder. We got to beat the Americans. And that's the way I approach it. You can't win a gold medal unless you beat the best Americans. So we've really focused on the Americans. We've got a game plan down now for all 8 of them.
In the meantime, Reader will keep grinding it out. Exactly what he loves to do. Stay longer and work harder than the other guy and make his bosses proud.
These guys have given me a unique position to be able to still train every single day towards an Olympic gold medal, and to bring that back to Brookings would be unbelievable.
He gets a crazy notion that I'm going to actually compete again, you know, and he's saying, just one more year and a half, you can do it, train with me, do that, you know, and I keep telling him, John, listen, man, my gold medal is going to be when you win your gold medal. I didn't do it competitively, but you win that gold medal, that's going to be my gold medal, to see you do it.
I remember my dad got me the 1996 Olympic highlight video, and I used to watch it all the time, seeing those guys with the Olympic flag on their back and running around the mat because they won Olympic gold. It gives me goosebumps right now, and it's something that, you know, every day, you know, I visualize it. That's going to be me.
Well, Reader has the World Team Trials and the World Championships later this summer, and then the Olympic Trials are still almost a year away in April of next year, with the Summer Games in Rio de Janeiro in August of 2016. Well, thanks to Coach Reader, thanks to Coach Bono, thanks to Megan and Jenna for sharing their stories this month. We'll see you next time on Midco Sports Magazine.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Shields.